an Excel spreadsheet I built from the ground up, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, and Wealthfront. Those are the three tools I used last year to save a bunch of extra money. So for those of you that just want to watch the first few seconds of this video, links are down in the description for those three tools. For anyone else who wants to learn how these three tools worked for me, stick around. Hi everyone, I want to do a quick overview on how I was able to save a bunch of money last year. I used just three simple tools that are free, worked out really good. So without further ado, let's jump right in, and I'll show you how I use these three tools to my advantage. First and foremost is this budget slash finance tracker. I looked a lot beforehand to figure out what I could use, that was out there already, and I couldn't find just the right thing. And so I set out and created it myself. It's very simple and straightforward. We've got an income section, we've got an expense section, we've got a general overview section here in the middle, and then we've got a section over here that tracks money that is owed. And then over here in the bottom here, we've got the list of other expenses. I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough of each area. Obviously, the income area is where we track the income. So let's just put in $100 from each of those. Income, the critical thing to make this work and to maximize your savings is to classify any amount of money that comes in, whether it's income from your work, income from a birthday gift, the $25 on the birthday card, or you help the neighbor clear snow and they paid you $20, whatever. That's all income, and it all belongs here in this income section. The thing that I couldn't find out there was a way to divvy out money based on percentage. Income never stays exactly the same. Certainly you can have a set salary or a set amount that you make every year in a job, but we all make a little extra here or there. Some people do more side gigs and what have you than others, but again, everyone gets that little bonus here or there, and to be able to divvy it out based on percentage makes a huge difference, and you'll see that that's how this works. So let's just jump over here to the monthly expense section. This is where all the magic happens, right here. Green is non-negotiable. It must happen every single month, I guess, except for maybe Christmas. And then blue and pink, we want to try to have happen as much as possible. Pay to you, that's first and foremost, and that's the number one secret right there. You pay yourself first, right? Goes into savings. The nice thing about this is you can fully adjust the percentages to work for you, okay? In my situation, I've got these adjusted to equal 50% of my income. So by the time I'm done with all of this part above the orange, there's 50% of my income left over to then take care of bills and other expenses. Obviously, everyone's living situations is different, and you have freedom to adjust these percentages as you see fit. I like to set money aside the whole year for Christmas. Again, people are different, and you're very easily able to type something different there if you so choose. So just bear that in mind. It's totally customizable to you. This is just how it's set up, and you can adjust it to work for you. We've got an investing section right here. We've got a retirement savings section. We've got an emergency fund section. Different than pay to you. Pay to you is, I think, should be completely different than emergency fund. Pay to you is just money that's going into savings. So you could use it to buy a house in the future, maybe. Things like that are good investments to make to benefit you over time, or act just as a second layer of protection with the emergency fund. So, and then we come down here. As much fun as it is to save money, we still need to spend it and have a good time, right? I like to set aside some money for fun, and that money gets spent. It's the money that gets spent on going, to the restaurant, right? Eating out. It's the money that gets spent on vacations, that kind of thing. Okay. Personal money is important. Everyone needs a little bit of money to just spend on whatever they feel like they need to spend. At least I think they do. And especially critical if you're in any kind of permanent relationship where you have two people living together, you're sharing finances and what have you. Every person needs to have money they don't need to ask the other person permission to use, right? And so that's the setup. In my personal setup, it's a 4%. 2% goes to me, 2% goes to my spouse, and that's money that we can spend however we want and not worry about asking the other person for permission to do that. I'm a firm believer in charitable giving, and so I think that if you give, a lot comes back. I have a spot there for that. Obviously, again, all of you can adjust that as needed. And then down here in the orange are recurring bills that happen all the time, and you can feel free to add additional rows as needed below, but things like the cell phone and the rent and tuition and utilities, car payment, car insurance, subscriptions, if there are any. Anyway, any of those that reoccur every single month, you can list right down here in this. And then moving down from there, we've got the section for other expenses. And so if we bought, gas, for example, and it was $30, put it there. That's not, there's gas that gets paid every month, but it changes, based on gas prices, based on how far, how much you drive, etc. And so things like that, things like groceries, things like clothes, other purchases you may make that are not recurring every single month, would be listed right down here. And it's just a really easy way to keep track of where the money has gone and how much of it has gone out each month. If we come up here in this overview section, we can see that total auto payments is this section right here. Those payments right there is how I've got it set up. Again, all of these formulas are completely adjustable, but down to this point right here is that's calculating that right there. So that I know how much all of these things that I call auto payments are. Total monthly expenses, obviously, takes into consideration all of this right here, okay, and continues all the way down. I classify these as expenses, even though technically these in the green are going into savings. I like to see the money just gone, so that then I know what I have left to deal with, my balance here, and left to spend on the necessities, the things like clothes and food and gas and that kind of stuff. For me, it's just easier to see and understand that because I want to consider this money just gone, right? I'm not touching this money. I'm not spending this money on anything except Christmas when the time comes. What the money I'm spending is the balance after these things here in the colored sections get paid. Okay, moving on. Something that was shocking to me until I started tracking it was the amount of money people owed me. And so I have a spot here that allows me to just type in money that people owed me. And it was shocking how much money was out there in the world that wasn't in my pocket that people owed me. So maybe I'm unique in that sense, but anyway, there's a section to track that. And as you can see, there are tabs down here for each month of the year. Okay, so that's pretty much the finance tracker and budget. I use this to figure out, how much money goes where. And then another thing that the second tool that I've used is a separate bank to store the money so that it's not even close to my checking account, credit cards, or whatever. So I have my primary bank where my where all the money comes in, right? All my paychecks, everything like that goes into this one bank. And then from there, every month I distribute however much this tracker tells me into another bank account. So we've got an example right here. I love to use Marcus by Goldman Sachs. They have a really nice, easy-to-use website. They've got a series of great savings options that you can use. I've got a link down in the description that you can use. It'll actually boost your interest rate for a period of time if you use that link to sign up. But as you can see here, I've got a number of different accounts for different money. I own a house. The house needs repairs. I've got a house fund. Here's my fun money account. Here's my car repair fund. Here's my Christmas fund. Here's a long-term savings / pay-to-you account. I set some money aside for life insurance. But this money is so nice to be in a place that earns a decent amount of interest. It's safe. It doesn't, it's not volatile or anything. It's fully FDIC insured. But it's out away in a different bank from my normal bank that I use to pay all the bills and everything like that. And so, like I said, going back to the budget thing for a second, I consider all of this, including the green stuff, expenses. And I want to funnel that money out and away from my normal bank. And that way it's out of sight, out of mind, and it's not tempting to buy that one, expensive thing that I really want. I can still buy it. I just have to save my personal money, or decide that, some of the fun money is going to be applied to that or whatever. The other thing that, the other tool I use is an investing situation from Wealthfront. For those of you not familiar with Wealthfront, they are online investment company, I guess. Robo-advisor, I think they call it. Where a computer generally manages a portfolio for you. In this particular screenshot right here, I've got just a standard brokerage account with them. I've had them for a number of years now, and I've been very pleased with their performance. And you can actually see this graph right here is, in fact, the performance of the account over the years. You can see across the whole time it's gone up 78%, and this dashed line right here is money I've put in, and the solid line up at the top is growth over time. So of course, like any investing account, there's dips and losses, but then there's also gains. Obviously, as you put more money in, you can see the change over time as the power of compounding interest and just time in general plays its part. You can see the different blends that they've got for my particular account. You can adjust the different levels of risk you're willing to take. I'm invested in a more aggressive pattern in this particular account, but you can see the performances here that it's done. And that's how I've been able to get into the world of investing very easily and without a bunch of research and headache from my part. Those are the three tools that I've used, and that's how I was able to save a whole bunch of extra money last year between those three things. The main thing being that Excel spreadsheet, and then being able to tap into these two banks and investing options really help. Anyway, if you're interested, there's a link down in the description to download that Excel spreadsheet you can use and customize yourself. And then there's a link to Marcus Bank, and that would give you a little boost in interest rate if you use that. And then there's also a link to Wealthfront, and you can get your first $5,000 managed for free if you use that. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.